The CS2 market just hit a new all-time high of almost $5.14 billion. This has been about roughly 47 days in the making since its previous all-time high, and we just absolutely love to see this. I mean, listen, the CS2 market has been on fire lately, and we've been talking about it, addressing it, especially when it comes to, just investing on the lows. And now most of those investments that we talked about are up in a big way. Now, the question is Valve going to shock us with some crazy update coming soon? Well, there seems to be a lot of speculation on this and a lot of talk about this as well, which we will address in this video. But I don't think that we need to be too concerned about this, and I'll address why. But before we really get into things, I just want to quickly say thank you to everyone that's been subscribing to the channel. It definitely helps the channel grow in a big way. And if you aren't subscribed yet, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's dive on in to the CS2 market and just look at where we're trading at currently. So we are trading at all-time highs, $5.163 billion, $5,163,907,000. What a beautiful all-time high. We're up in a big way in the last just 7 days, up 4%, 8% in the last 30 days. I know that the 90-day, gain is not the craziest, but hey, we're bouncing back in a big way, and we love to see this. Now, most of the market is just green on the daily, the 7-day, the 30-day, and we're just waiting for that 60-day time frame to start to flip green. Most of even the expensive buys are now up in a big way, which is something that we could all get excited about if we do own some of these. I'm sure that a lot of you probably don't, including even myself, but hey, we could still admire that the market is starting to gain a lot more value, and it does come from a lot of these big, very large investment opportunities. Now, also, on the other side of the market, we do still see cases gaining quite a bit as well. In the last 24 hours, the esports 2014 summer case is up almost 26%. The CSGO weapon case is up about almost 9%. This is the weapon case 3 to be specific. The Revolution case up about 5%. That could definitely be just from Sparkles' recent video, opening up a ton of these, but also just demand from the market itself. And then also the Shattered Web case up about 4% in the last 24 hours. Winter Offensive, 3.74%. Huntsman weapon case, 3.48%. So, just some nice gains here. And even looking at the 7-day span, we could see that a lot of cases are up in a big way. Even the glove case is now bouncing back, which we love to see. Falchion case, Shadow case, Operation Broken Fang, just some nice gains across the board. And then, of course, stickers, right? We've been talking about the RMR 2020s. A lot of them have been just going insane as of lately. Some of these are up 200+% in the last 7 days, up 100+% in the last 24 hours. The last 30 days, I think, for almost all of these have been very, crazy. I mean, 200+%. And this is because, again, sticker prices, you could argue that it's just all price manipulation. Sure, you could say that. But I also do think that a lot of people are collecting these. These stickers look very good in game. I know that a lot of people are just not a big fan of them, but I personally think that they look great, and yeah, the supply for them is very low. So the demand now starting to rise. A lot of people taking advantage of this. Definitely is causing a lot of these stickers to also go crazy. So a lot of the growth that we're seeing around this market, number one, nice bounce back off of the lows, off of the sell-off, a lot more demand for the market itself. There's a lot of possibilities around Valve, updating the game in a big way, which is also starting to, lead to a lot of people buying because we know that there is an update cooking behind the scenes. We just don't know what it's going to be. We know that recently the Solitude just got added to the Armory, which was a big update. Definitely caused a lot more buying of, M4S skins, including even the Solitude. And just overall, a lot of these items are now bouncing back from people just buying up the supply on the lows, which is causing this big surge in value, as you guys can even see here zoomed in. But again, this is just a typical market reaction. A bounce is going to happen. It's inevitable. And now we're starting to see that. And now we're starting to see a new all-time high, which will probably lead into price discovery and us going even crazier, probably targeting almost $6+ billion. We have to watch, wait, and see what happens. But hey, this is prime time to be locked in on the CS2 market. Now, let's address this CS2 leak. So this got posted by Osni over on X, and the leaker's name, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. This is the leaker's name. We have CS2 leaks volatile cases. The leaker speculates that if a skin is rented and is from a case with the volatile perimeter, you might be able to connect with the arms dealer. Then you might be able to buy the skin directly or extend its rent time. So this is what it looks like. Let me open this up in a new tab and just kind of show you guys real quick the code as well. So zooming in, this is from the, I believe, kilowatt case, because the inheritance is here and the kukri. So this is just showing us the actual case, and we have the connect with arms dealer option here. Now, again, I do think that this is just simply some speculation. We don't know what's going to happen with this. We don't know if this is real or not. And here we have the code line behind it, right? We have inventory API is rentable. This is the ID for it. We have which is rent. Yes, you heard right. That is if the item is rented and it is from the case in which there is a parameter of a new volatile container, the rented item can be bought out or its rent can be extended as well. Again, how trustworthy is this? Well, we don't know, right? This could definitely be just a lot of guessing. There is some additional comments to this. He also said it might not be a new type of case, but in addition to existing ones, like when they added the renting feature to the kilowatt case and then to all cases after seeing it didn't impact the market. He also said Valve could release this feature when they add a new case, which I personally think makes sense for testing purposes. And if it works and it doesn't mess up the market, then they will likely add it to old cases too, like they did with the renting feature. Keep in mind, this is speculation from this individual based on leaks. It might not work like this at all, and he made that clear by saying there still isn't enough info to be able to know exactly how it works. My take is I think the connect to arms dealer feature to buy skins directly will be just a way to connect the in-game case directly to the Steam community market, thus the volatile price. As there is no set price for skins, the community decides the price through the market. This makes even more sense after seeing they updated the Steam market recently after the 10 years of not touching it. Again, just speculation. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people had a few questions on this. Even Jesus said, is there any new actual data mined information, or is this just a guessing game? And we have every skin update that gets leaked is a guessing game that normally doesn't end up working as expected, but depends on what you consider new. The only thing I didn't see talked about before was the rental part and the laptop thing, but for many, this is all new info. Again, I think that this is all just guessing. I think that this has to do with probably the new UI. Could this shock the market if this is a reality? 100%, right? It could definitely affect the market in a big way. Just like some of the recent updates that we've witnessed, right? One of the biggest ones that we know of is the trade revert update. It scared the market, causing this panic, causing the market to sell off. And I think that right now, the main thing to focus on is that this is just speculation. We don't really need to be worried about this just yet. And if this is going to become something at some point in time, it's most likely going to be a test, right? They're going to test it just like we see here from Osni, and it's not going to be on an old case. I don't think that it would ever be on an old case. It would be on a new case that they launch, and it would probably be a part of this, arms dealer collection if it is something to, that happens. And if it does impact the market in a negative way, then we're just going to take it out of the market. Because again, this has happened in the past. They always protect the market. The market is their, bread and butter, if you will. So, I'm not too concerned on this. But if this does happen and it impacts the market in a negative way, what type of, consequences will that have? I don't think that it's going to be lasting consequences, right? It's just like this trade revert update. Everyone thought that this was going to kill the market. We sold off, we hit a low, right? Here's our low. And then from that point on, we just continued higher. So yeah, initial sell-off, if this is something that happens, definitely could be there. But utilize that as an opportunity. Don't let it terrify you. Don't let it scare you. Don't let it, cause panic at all. I still think that we go higher from here. I think that we will probably continue and probably tap about $6 billion on this next big run up. I mean, if we're really looking at the previous move here, this was about $5 billion back here, but this is in such a short-lived period, so we can't really go off of just this. The all-time high back here from, 2023 was about almost 4.25 billion. And we hit a new all-time high going all the way back here to about roughly, this is March of this year. And from that point on, we added almost $1+ billion to the market cap of the CS2 market. So that's what I'm kind of basing it off of on how high we can go here. I think that we could easily add, another almost $800 million to the market cap of, the CS2 market, leading to that $6 billion market cap for the CS2 market, which by that point, we should see a lot of things, including cases and skins and technically even stickers, also rising, really kind of allowing us to hit those levels. But overall, very, very good time for the CS2 market. I'm not too worried about, any of these major leaks. And I don't think that Valve is really going to, shock us with any, new crazy update. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications on to never miss a future update. And with that being said, guys, it's Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.